good afternoon, and welcome to my channel. I am so glad to be here. Hello everyone, my name is Fiona Wamoyo. I am a crochet artist based in Nakuru, Kenya, East Africa. Yes, I am a Kenyan based in East Africa, and I love everything crochet. I've been posting my work for a while on this channel without doing any tutorials, without talking about it or anything like that. And I've had so many people inquire on my Instagram, on my TikTok, on my Facebook, if I can do tutorials. And that is exactly why I am here. We are starting. It has taken me too long. I know, I am so sorry, but we are starting. We're going to start tutorials, and I will try to be posting a tutorial every week. I hope to create an amazing community here. We can share together, we can learn together. I don't know everything. I love granny stitch, that is like my favorite. I love granny squares, but I still have a lot to learn. There's so many different stitches, so many different things that you can learn when it comes to crochet. So that is why I'm here, to do tutorials and to also learn from you guys and to share my work, and to thank you all for all who've been supporting me on my TikTok, on my Facebook, on my Instagram, and now here on my YouTube. Let us do this. Yeah, so today it's going to be basically an introduction. It's best to start with knowing what do we need when we are crocheting. What tools do you need when you're crocheting? You just I think it's best to talk about the different tools that we need when we're crocheting, so that when we eventually get to learn different things, different tactics of crocheting, we will have at least a basic knowledge of the different items. Like, one of the things that I've just completed is this trench sweater. It's very long, it's going up to down, so yes, so that's one of the items that I do. I love everything to do with the granny stitch, this type of stitch, the granny stitch, and I know I will be sharing that with you guys. This is a hexagon granny sweater, and then it's long, elongated to become a trench. So that's the things, some of the things that I'm going to be sharing. So welcome, and let's get into it. We are going to start today, right now, with the different tools that we need, basic tools. This is just a basic video where you learn the different tools that you'll need to do basic stitches as you're learning crochet. So when we are starting crochet, the first item that you will need is called a hook. This is how a crochet hook looks like. It has this elongated part and this part that resembles a hook. So this is called a crochet hook. Now, crochet hooks come in different materials. The standard item looks like this, but it can come in different materials. For example, here I have two types. One is this one with a plastic casing and a stainless steel part where you hook your yarn. And this one comes with a rubber casing. This is my favorite, and stainless steel metallic area where you hook your yarn. Now, I like holding my hook like this. The reason why I love this type of hook is because this rubber casing offers protection here to my finger. This finger tends to get really tired when I'm using an item that doesn't have a rubber part, because I crochet a lot of granny squares, a lot of blankets, so this is very important. It helps you go on with your work very fast. So this is one type of crochet hook that you can get that has a rubber part and has a metallic hook area. There are others that are made of wood. There are others that are made of plastic. There are others that are just simply the metallic parts. For example, I have one here. Let me try and trace it. Yes, this one, this hook is only metallic. It's metal from front to back. So you can use this one as well. Another thing to note about crochet hooks is they come in different sizes, from the smallest to the biggest millimeters. They normally measure the crochet hook in millimeters, which is this part where you hook the yarn. So the smallest I have is a 0.6 millimeters, and the largest that I have is a 6.0 millimeters. Now I have seen crochet hooks that go up to 25 millimeters that use the really chunky yarn. So it depends with the type of crochet hook that you want, the type of project that you're working with, the type of yarn that you're using. So you can pick and choose a crochet hook that suits you. I have 3 types of yarn that I use, so I will show you which crochet hook suits which project and which type of yarn and which size of yarn. So that's the first product that you will need when you want to start your crochet projects. Next, we have stitch markers. Have you ever watched a crochet tutorial and had a crochet artist telling you, put a stitch marker here on a certain project? This is how a stitch marker looks like. It's made of plastic, and what you do is you hook the stitch marker on the certain point that you want to put, and remember, and close it like that. So that's how it closes, and when you want to remove it, you just pinch it like that and it opens. So stitch markers are very important, especially when you're doing projects that need you to add stitches or to reduce stitches. So when you're reducing stitches, you can mark where you want to reduce. When you want to increase, you can mark where you want to increase, or it depends with the instructions that are in a certain project. When you're making shirts, when you're making dresses, when you're making bags, when you're making trousers, you can use stitch markers for different parts that you need to mark to remember, or when you want to remember the amount of stitches that you have in a project. So that's how a standard stitch marker looks like. Next, we have a darning needle. This is one of the most crucial items that you will need when you're working on your crochet projects, especially when you're weaving in your ends. Crochet projects require you to weave your ends in. We will discuss weaving ends at a different video, but this is a standard darning needle that you can use. This one is large. I think this one is small. Yes, I have a larger one, so you can see the difference in size. This is smaller. You can use for thinner yarn, and this you can use for thicker yarn, depending on the project that you're working with. So that is how a darning needle looks like. You can get it in wood, you can get it in stainless steel. I have it in plastic in these 2 different sizes. Next, we have a pair of scissors. You can use this crochet scissors or knitting scissors, or you can get just normal scissors depending on what you want. The kit that I use comes in these types of scissors, so it cuts yarn very easily. So you can use this. Let me see. Yes, here I have some yarn, so you can use it to just cut your yarn like that. So that is a standard pair of crochet scissors. You can use any other type of scissors that you have available. Then we have a measuring tape. A measuring tape is also crucial when you're handling different projects. Why? You can measure your project in inches, or you can measure your project in centimeters. I prefer a measuring tape with the 2, because sometimes a project requires you to measure in inches. Sometimes you want to get down to centimeters, and this is such a crucial item to get. So when you're shopping for your crochet projects or your hobby, remember to ask for a measuring tape, especially one that comes with inches and ones that comes with centimeters on the other side, so that you can use to measure your projects and know, I need to go up to here, or the chain that I'm working with is 6 inches long, or it is 20 centimeters long, depending on the project that you're working on. So this measuring tape is so crucial for your crochet projects. And lastly, we have yarn. Now I have available acrylic yarn. But when you do your research, you will realize there are so many different types of yarn. There is acrylic, there is cotton, there's milk cotton, there's wool, there's so many different types of yarn available in the market. So it depends with the project that you're working on. I work with the standard acrylic, 100% acrylic yarn in these 3 different sizes. The first size is chunky. You can see this is what makes my blankets pop so much. I love the color. I love that when I wash my projects, it doesn't run. I love the quality of the yarn. It doesn't fluff out too much. So this was one of the companies that I really like, and this is a type of yarn that I use for my blankets. So this is chunky yarn, and when you're using chunky yarn, you need to find the right crochet hook for it. For example, I like using 4.0 millimeters on my chunky yarn so that when I'm hooking, it just hooks very easily on my projects. So when I'm working on the granny square blankets, so chunky yarn is one option depending on the project that you're working on. Sweaters, blankets, it works really well. Next, we have the 4-ply, which is medium. It's not as thick as the chunky. So this is how the medium yarn looks like. So this is one brand that I really like, and you can use it when you don't want to do double strands for your project. When you're making shirts, you're making dresses, you're making skirts, you're making baby clothes, whichever project that you're working on, you can choose this option, which is medium size. It's not chunky and it's not too thin, and it works well for different projects. So this is another type of acrylic yarn, the size, and for this I prefer a 3.0 millimeter hook that it works well with this size of yarn. So this is a 3.0 millimeter hook. And lastly, we have the thinnest yarn that I work with. This is they say it's a 4-ply, but you see it's thinner than this, but they're different brands. So this is thin. For certain projects, you can use double strand or you can use single strand depending on what you're working on. If you use double strand, you can use the 3.0 millimeter hook, but if you're using single strand, you can use the 1.25 or 2.0 hook depending on what project you're working with. Some people even work with very small crochet hooks for their different projects. So these are different types of yarn that you can work with on your crochet projects. I live in Kenya, of course, and you can find this very readily available in the local market. They're locally produced yarn made in Kenya, but you can also find cotton, you can find milk cotton, you can find wool, depending on what you're working on. So these are some of the different items that you'll need to start a crochet project. You need your crochet hook, you need your measuring tape, you need your stitch markers, you need your pair of scissors, and you need your yarn and your darning needle to do your crochet project. So guys, let's continue working together. I'll continue putting out tutorials. I just wanted to start with basics. Tomorrow or the next day we'll start with basic stitches, and we continue learning how to make crochet projects, different things. I know people want me to make hearts, people want me to show how to make granny squares, how to make multicolor granny squares, different types of granny squares. I love granny squares, so I will be doing that in the following weeks, but I just wanted to start an introduction, introduce myself as a crochet artist, and show you what some of the materials that I work with, and I am really grateful for this opportunity. So I'll see you guys. Have a good day. Bye bye.